Well, Phil, fitness wise doing now.
Patriots fill stadiums, not circles in an empty room. Twitter and the FBI, one day won't deny Trump won and you know it. Trump won and you know it. The fake news will never show it, 'cause it's true. Trump won and you know it. The thing about truth, time is always gonna tell.
Votes in Fulton County were counted more than once.
I bet he took New York and carried California as well. He's done it twice before, and he's gonna win again for the third time in 2024. Trump won and you know it. Trump won and you know it. Fox News won't even show it. It's true. Trump won and you know it. Trump won and you know it. If there's a line, they're gonna tow it. It's true. Trump won and you know it. I know it, you know it, we know it, they know it. Everybody knows Trump won. I know it, you know it, we know it, they know it. Everybody knows Trump won. I know it, you know it, we know it, they know it. Everybody knows Trump won.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome. Primary results are rolling in. Various states, 15 in total, cast their vote for presidential nominee for both the Democrats and Republicans in today's primaries and caucuses. We're going to start with the reporting states for the Democrats. So we have Vermont that went for Joe Biden, 89%. 4% for Marianne Williamson, who just recently unsuspended. Biden won 88% of the vote in Virginia to 8% for Marianne Williamson. Biden won North Carolina, coming in first over no preference with 8%. And Biden won Iowa. So let's say hello to everybody, and then we'll get to the Republican side. What's up, Jason? Linda, hello. What's up, little dog Chaz? Hey, Bry. He might not. What's up, Muffin? Is it better now? It should be pretty soon. Let me try and... There, maybe that's better. Is that better? But as far as Starship, that should happen very, very soon. Should happen in the next probably 2 weeks. Hopefully. We're just waiting. What's up, Light Rain? Huh. Wonder if it's... Let me see what's going on. Let me listen. See if I can figure it out. It sounds good coming from my end. So maybe it's on yours because it sounds fine coming from my end. Let me see if that helps. All right. We'll see if that helps. I started running like a filter through it. Maybe that will help, but anyways, sounds fine. Okay. Yeah, it might be on your side, Muffin, because it sounds fine coming through mine too, but I did run a filter just in case. Uh, so no surprise here on the Democrat side, Biden's basically running unopposed. And then we get into the Republican states that are reporting. We have some early numbers in, but the only state that's been called is Virginia, which is kind of a surprise. Donald Trump is up with 65% of the vote, and every major network has projected him the winner of the state of Virginia primary with only 26% in. Pretty big lead. That one's surprising. Because that's one of the ones that could have flipped and could have went the other way. Um, huh. They have more results over on NBC. Yeah, I believe these are all open primaries. So it wouldn't be surprising that there's crossover. I'm actually going to go over to this one. Well, this shows everything though. I don't like that. But we'll go over to NBC. So one of the other ones, North Carolina, NBC Decision Desk has called North Carolina with only 2% of the vote for Donald J. Trump, 59.7%. To Nikki Haley's 35.8%. 1.7% no preference, 1.1 DeSantis, and 1% Vivek Ramaswamy. So those are the two that we have. Yeah, none of other ones are called. So those are the two that we have called so far. Virginia for Donald Trump, North Carolina for Donald Trump. And we'll go back to the other map and look, because that one has everyone. Vermont has been a close contest since it started. It's went back and forth. Right now, Donald Trump is up by 3% of the vote. Again, open primary, heavily Democratic state or Democrat state. And this one's another one that Haley's going to get all kinds of support in. Maine, the polls don't close for another 7 minutes, so we should start getting numbers in there. Massachusetts is the same thing. Polls close at 8 p.m. North Carolina is going to be an interesting one to watch. I think that Trump ultimately will pull away, and that's probably why NBC has already called it. But that one's closer than I anticipated. Tennessee polls close at 8 p.m. So we'll get that one. Alabama polls close at 8 p.m. Arkansas 8:30. Minnesota 9. Oklahoma 8 p.m. Texas is at 8 p.m. Colorado's at 9. Utah's 10. California's 11, with Alaska at midnight. So we have some. I haven't decided where I'm going to go, if I'm going to bounce back and forth, but these are the slate of ones that we have coming up for today. I think there are 856 delegates. Trump needs 900 and some odd to win the nomination. Right now he has, I believe, 273 total. 1,215 to win. So he'll come up a little bit short after tonight's contests, even if he does clean sweep everything, but that will get worked out pretty quickly. So if we look at all the states that have voted so far, these are the states that have voted so far. If you look into what's left, I mean, these, and I don't know why we're discussing this so heavily, but there's a pretty good indication that Donald Trump's going to be a Republican nominee. We have Kansas on March 19th, Illinois, Wisconsin April 2nd, Ohio is March 19th, April 2nd for New York, March 12th for Georgia, March 19th for Florida, March 12th for Mississippi. So just based on some quick math, I think that if it's not wrapped up before then, I would think March 19th will have a clear nominee for president. Based on the Michigan caucus at the convention, the support for Donald Trump is very heavy here, even trumping the 61% or 68.1% that was voted for in the primary, which they still haven't counted all of. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. We have some in from Vermont. Looks like Trump has a 10-point lead there. What's up, Stevie? Yeah. Nikki won. For those who don't know, and I didn't cover it directly. I don't even know that it's on here. Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey. They don't even list it on here. Oh, there it is. Nikki Haley did win District of Columbia the other day. I believe it's Saturday. 62% of the vote in the swamp. Yes. We started with the Democrats. We can go back to them while we're waiting. Biden's winning by huge margins. He's running against literally none of the above. No preference is often the second choice for most people that voted in the Democrat primary, but he is winning huge. And I don't know. He probably can wrap it up pretty soon, if not tonight too. Also, there's some Senate seats and House seats, as you can see, that are supposedly important seats that are being voted on today. Yeah, a total of 2,000 votes in DC. And every single one of them swamp dwellers. Nobody lives in DC. It's worth a damn. But so she got 1,279 votes. Donald Trump got 676 in Washington, D.C. So, yeah, no surprise here. But again, Vermont, this one's going to be a close one. If Haley wins anything tonight, I think it's probably going to be Vermont, possibly. But as you see, we don't have results from any other states just yet. I went at 7:45 to try and get the most that we can. So we should see numbers coming in from Tennessee, Oklahoma, Massachusetts, and Maine, along with Alabama here in the next few minutes. So hopefully we get those results. But the contests that are being counted currently are Virginia. Donald Trump has 64.6% of the vote in Virginia. And North Carolina, where he has 69.5%, that lead's opening up as we go deeper. 2% of the votes in. He's already secured almost half the delegates, and he is up by a very wide margin. What's up, AP? So now, again, as the votes come in, those numbers widen. Virginia, he now has 39 delegates, 32 delegates in North Carolina. And again, this one's the one to watch. I think if Haley wins anything, it's this Vermont right here. So we'll keep an eye on that one and wait for the 8 p.m. numbers to come in. They should be in any moment. 538 has Donald Trump up by 1% in Vermont. And it looks like the Washington Post has it up, just switched 2% in Vermont. So that's going to be the contest. So I've got this question a bunch of times, and so there's a process for registration before becoming the nominee for president. Those deadlines have passed in a large majority of the states. Now, if he had not filed the way he did, there is a possibility that he could reopen it. But he did file with heels up as his vice presidential candidate. So Kamala Harris would assume the ballot if Joe became incapacitated or could not be on the ballot. So the ticket would still be Kamala Harris, and then whoever was appointed to vice president for that specific office. But some people have said, oh, they're going to float in Newsom or Michelle Obama. Well, neither one of them were registered or filed, and a lot of them are by statute of the state, not by party rules. So it's not something you can get around. Like I said before, I guess, yeah, they could cheat. They could be ridiculous. We know that's how the Democrats are. But to file, it's very inexpensive. It's a very easy process. It's usually just a cash filing fee. So it would be ridiculous to think that if they were even contemplating that, if somebody didn't file. So Newsom or Obama or insert political candidate here would have had to file for it, and there's no such filing. So no, you're totally fine. Like, I know it's come up a million times, and people have said, "Oh, it's gonna be her. It's gonna be her." It's not possible at this point. So, it is not possible. So it is going to be Joseph Robinette Biden and Kamala Harris on one side of the ticket, and it looks like Donald Trump on the other side of the ticket. Also in election news, I'm sure everybody's heard, but we'll go over it anyways while we're waiting for results. The Supreme Court has weighed in and said that Trump cannot be removed from the ballot by the state, which was a 9-0 sweeping opinion. It was every justice, even the liberals, voted for Donald Trump to remain on the ballot, probably for their own interest. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But the 14th Amendment is very, very clear. Very, very clear on what the amendment means and what the breakdown of the amendment is. And only Congress has power to remove somebody for, quote, insurrection, not the states individually. And if you read the 14th Amendment, there's really no other way you can come up with anything but that, in my opinion. And that was validated by the United States Supreme Court. So Colorado did get bitch slapped. So that's a good way of putting it, because that's pretty much exactly what just happened. So it's up to now. In response to that, everybody's favorite congressman, Jamie Raskin, is introducing a bill in Congress to do just that, to remove Donald Trump from the ballot. I don't think there's any chance in hell that it gets even remotely put forward. It would take something crazy. But again, we're in crazy times, so I'm looking for the 14th. So what we're looking at is the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, and specifically Section 3, no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president or vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who had previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as any member of the state legislature or an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid and comfort to enemies thereof. But Congress may by a vote of 2/3 of each house remove such disability. So I think rightly was decided that only Congress has that power. And that's what the 9-0 decision was in the Supreme Court. So Trump will remain on the ballot despite the challenge from the state of Colorado. And I believe there was several other states. I don't know the exact breakdown of how many, but I know there were several. Yeah, I think they all want civil war. I think they all want it to kick off, man. I think that's their only play. Yeah. So back to the results, and we'll see. So Trump's opening up a pretty good lead in Vermont now. From around that 1.4% to now we're up to around 7.4%, somewhere in there. And he's opening up a lead. So not shocking. Massachusetts, we have numbers in. Nikki Haley is leading in very early, 0.01%. She's leading 49 to 45. And we have not got reporting from any other state at this point. Yeah, they got the follow through. Yeah, I know. So we're just waiting for something else to come in. See if any of the other sites have anything. 16% reporting, and 538 has Trump up by 6% now in Vermont. They all have different numbers. It's so weird. We'll go over to WAPO because they just got a vote dump. Donald Trump has 7 votes in Maine to Nikki Haley's 1. And as you can see, there's 6.4% is the lead right now. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Virginia is up for Donald Trump easily. And he's running away with North Carolina. Again, this is the one that we need to watch. This is a close one. Vermont. Maine has very little vote totals in. Alabama, we have numbers more. Fewer than 1%, 96 to 15. But that's not much in yet. Tennessee probably is very close to being called Trump. 1.3% of the votes are in, and Trump has a commanding lead. So we're just still waiting for those vote totals to filter in. For what it's worth, the New York Times still has Vermont going to Nikki Haley. Yeah, probably. So Nikki Haley is still projected. They haven't called it, but she's still projected to win in Vermont. And then we have a call in. The New York Times is calling Tennessee for Trump with 2% of the vote in. Trump leads by 63 points. And we should see Alabama called for him because Trump is up 76 points with 1% of the vote in at this point. Maine's numbers are starting to come in and has Trump up 75%. Of course, it doesn't show it over here. So we're still in the same spot here. Why did they put it over there? That's weird. Nothing from Massachusetts yet. Check over here. So again, today is Super Tuesday. There are a total of 15 states voting for President of the United States. For the respective nominees, there are Maine, Massachusetts, Vermont, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma, great state of Texas, Minnesota, Colorado, Utah, California, and Alaska. She has said that she is in it for the long haul. So she said she's not going to drop out even if she gets destroyed here. But like we talked about briefly at the beginning, looking at the remaining of the primary dates and the amount of delegates that are up for grabs and the amount that Donald Trump should secure tonight, he should be about 100 delegates short of the nomination after tonight's contests. And he will probably very comfortably make that up either next week on March 12th, or if not, for sure, he will on March 19th. That primary includes the Florida primary. Well, that was the other thing. That was somebody said that publicly. He said, "Oh, it must be when Trump gets removed and can't be on the ballot, she's going to assume the position." And that's not how the system works. So there's no indication that she would be the first choice of the voters or the delegates that would be voting for it. So it's a good thought. I get why she's staying in for that opportunity or for that potential opportunity. But in reality, it's probably not even hers, even if she is the only one, because everybody else would just unsuspend. It would go to ballot at convention, and they would pick somebody else, if not Donald Trump. But yeah, well, part of it is somebody's still paying her. It is that the Democrats could be. There was an interesting quote out by Gavin Newsom. Let me see if I can find it. If you guys haven't seen it. No, I don't want the whole thing. Just want the clip. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter, X, whatever. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it now. Said something paraphrasing to the effect that that she's one of the best operatives for the Democrat Party. Speaking of Nikki Haley, and he said this publicly, so it's not like this is some kind of secret thing. What's up, Nick? No way in hell. No. I don't want her a heartbeat away from the presidency. And I don't think anybody else does. I wonder if part of his strategy on naming a vice president is the fact that he's waiting for Super Tuesday results, or waiting for her to get out of the race. Because like I said, March 19th, this is all going to be over. He's going to secure the delegates, and there's nothing left to fight for. I mean, so you need 1,215 to win the nomination. Each one has apportioned delegates based on population, just like Electoral College. Although not similar numbers to the Electoral College, but yeah. So yeah, she'll get another contract with probably Boeing. Yeah. I mean, she's still getting paid. So as long as she's still getting paid, she's going to remain in the race. Why wouldn't you? Like I would. Like here you get to travel the country and hang out. I don't know why you wouldn't. Give a speech or two, stop on the tour bus. I mean, it's a free trip around the U.S. I want to find. Let me see if I somewhere in here. I just don't want to listen to the whole damn thing. So we have Trump, Tennessee, Trump, North Carolina, Trump, Virginia. Oh, it's this. This one's the worst too. This chick's the worst. On the Meet the Press. I think I found it. There we go. I found it. Oh, I was sharing it anyways. Maybe. Here we go. This is Gavin Newsom. This is the Meet the Press lady.
About the campaign now. The South Carolina primary is underway as we have this conversation. I wonder, Governor, when you look at the landscape, do you think that it is time for Nikki Haley to drop out of the race? And do Democrats want the general election to begin in earnest?
Well, I don't know why Democrats would want her out of the race. She's one of our better surrogates. I mean, she's defining the opposition to Trump incredibly effectively. I mean, she's making points I'm applauding every single day about his temperament, his capacity, his unraveling in real time. And so I think she's been incredibly effective. So I hope she stays in personally. But look, at the end of the day, it's Trump. I mean, there's not a state Nikki Haley can win. I mean, let's look realistically. You look at this map. It's beyond me why she wants to continue in this race. But again, I don't want to get in the way of that. But Trump clearly is the nominee. Biden administration understands that. The campaign understands that. We understand it at a sub-national level, at a gubernatorial level, and that's who we're up against.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Trump, you have described him.
So that is the quote by Gavin Newsom, governor of California, that Nikki's one of their better surrogates and hopes she stays in the race, but doesn't know why and knows it's Donald Trump's. We have some results coming in. Oklahoma was just called for Donald Trump. He's leading 13,616 for 77% of the total vote. And Oklahoma has been called for Donald Trump. As you can see, it's now red here. Alabama's got to be close. Not a lot of votes total in. Starting to get numbers out of Texas as well. So Texas is huge margin for Donald Trump, with nearly 500,000 votes in, or 20% of the total. 73.6% for Donald Trump, 21.2% for Nikki Haley. So these are the other states we're looking at. Arkansas closes in a little bit. Minnesota closes at 9. Vermont is still very close, but Trump's lead continues to open, which is a good sign. When you're looking at the aggregate poll average by the New York Times, they still have Nikki Haley up by 1.3%. When factoring the margin of error. So they still think Haley's going to win Vermont. Like I said, I think that's the only state that Nikki Haley could potentially win this evening. So Arkansas should close in about 10 minutes here. Massachusetts is interesting right now. Nikki Haley has a slight edge, 5%, about 70 votes, is it? So, but fewer than 1% still in. Let's see. Yeah, Haley +5 in Massachusetts. And so far, the only state that Nikki Haley has won, it's not even a state, It's the District of Columbia. So okay, so there's just another dump of votes. Narrow edge in Maine. Vermont's starting to close up a little bit. It's 4% in favor of Donald Trump now. And Haley's leading Massachusetts by 5%. Yeah, I know, right? I know. I don't think she'll win Massachusetts. I don't think she'll win Massachusetts. In fact, so the aggregate, when they figure in exit polls and all that good stuff, New York Times has Donald Trump winning Massachusetts by 26 points. So Trump should win Mass. The only one that he's not projected to win is Vermont in tonight's slate. So a couple have closed for the Democrats. So we'll go over and check on them too, just to make sure. Biden will win Maine. Biden won Vermont. Biden will win Massachusetts. And he won Virginia and North Carolina. He won Tennessee. He'll win Alabama. He won Oklahoma. And he's projected to win Iowa, as well as winning Texas with a 260,000 vote margin. So a huge margin in Texas. So as we see, there's just no question. I mean, Biden's going to win and take home all the delegates for the Democrat side. Don't know why they haven't called Texas at plus 85 with 27% of the vote in. That one seems pretty, unless they have some information coming out on something different, but that one seems like a foregone conclusion at this point as well. Let's go back and see if there's anything else here. Ooh, Vermont's getting tight. Donald Trump's lead is 1.3% now in Vermont. Well, this one hasn't updated. It will in 5 seconds. Potato Joe. Let's see. No, they still have them up by. I wonder why New York Times has a different number. So we'll go down and look at some of the Senate races. Let's see what's up. Here. Texas has a lot of primaries. So the U.S. Senate primaries, I know very little about any of these people. For the Democratic primary for the Texas U.S. Senate seat, Colin Allred is leading and probably projected to win that side of it. And Ted Cruz has won the Republican primary for the Senate seat for the great state of Texas by a very, very wide margin. There's nothing in that one. Second congressional district, Shamari Figures has a big lead in the Democrat side. Dick Brubaker is leading on the Republican side. If anybody's in this area of Butler County District 2 of Alabama. North Carolina 6th Congressional District primary. That's a tight race. Addison McDowell, Christian McCasty, and Mark Walker are all separated by a few points. And I don't believe that there was a Democrat on this ticket. So whoever wins that one's going to win that election. See if there's any other interesting races while we're waiting on the other results. Wow, North Carolina's got some very... What's up, Fast? Democrats are just voting for Biden. They have former years of him falling down the stairs. That's awesome. I cared who won. I'd put "This is my America" Joe Biden signs at every cardboard town. Run ads in California nonstop. Yeah. Those are some very, very tight races in North Carolina for. Again, I know nothing about any of these gentlemen at this point, but there's another one for North Carolina district, very tight. This is right outside of Raleigh. Might know somebody that lives here. So this one's very, very close. Kelly Daughtry, Fred Von Cannon, Texas. No results in Texas on that one. No results there yet. Oh, you guys are gonna... Hang on. I'm gonna introduce this young lady with her famous clip.
I've held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I had it. It is as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving. And the bullet that is utilized, a 50 caliber, these kinds of bullets, need to be licensed and do not need to be on the streets.
Sheila Jackson Lee, ladies and gentlemen, has won the Democratic primary in Texas's 18th congressional district primary. That was a young lady in the clip talking about how much an AR-15 weighs and that it takes 50 caliber bullets. So Texas is in good hands. And that is outside of Houston. The redistricting is almost comical. I mean, look at that. Like, not build yourself a Democrat district, right? Jesus. Texas is 26th. Nothing interesting there. This one's interesting. Myra Flores. She's winning the GOP primary. I believe this is a Democrat seat. Vicente Gonzalez was uncontested and won the Democrats. So this is Brownsville, Texas. This is where SpaceX Starbase Texas is. This specific district. So that's where the Starship testing is. Myra Flores, she got a bunch of publicity during the last election. No, she did win the last one, didn't she? So she's a Mexican American. So this is Myra Flores and Tulsi Gabbard. Just a random clip I
I've
found.
been taken for granted for far too long. So thank you so much for coming here to South Texas and supporting our fight.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I reached out to Myra Flores to ask how I could support her in her reelection efforts because we've got
Oh,
Democrats
that's awesome.
control
Good luck,
across
buddy.
the board in Washington. I left the Democrat Party because they're so far out of touch with the needs of everyday Americans across the country, are instead pushing this radical so-called woke agenda that is actually going against the foundational freedoms that are in our Constitution. We need leaders in Washington who are putting people first, not putting one party or another first, but are actually listening to the needs and struggles of everyday Americans, the people here in Texas 34. Myra Flores has already shown she is doing that. And we, the American people, need more leaders like her who put service to the people first.
You have a lot of energy.
All right, good enough. So that's Myra Flores. She's Mexican-born American citizen that ran for Congress. JK, if you need, just reach out to me. No, thank you, Dees. So it looks like she's going to secure the nomination. So Sheila Jackson Lee is winning that one. We already did that. So let's see if we have any new information or news. So Joe Biden's won Maine. Surprise, surprise. They still haven't called Texas or Alabama. But they have called Maine for former President Donald J. Trump. Is 68.6% of the votes in Maine, and it looks like they are projecting him to win that specific primary. So another one down and one in the Northeast. So that's good. As far as Vermont, Trump has a 2-point lead with 32% of the vote in. This one looks like it's going to go all the way to the wire. Massachusetts, Trump is up by 8 points now with just over 1% of the vote in. Alabama, he has an 82% to 14% lead. And Texas, he has 74% to 21% for Nimrata. Still nothing from any of the other ones. We should be getting Arkansas results here soon. Minnesota should be in shortly after that. And then we'll probably call it shortly after that. Because California is not going to be until 11. And I'm not going to talk that long. So again, we have Donald Trump winning Maine, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. He leads big in Alabama. I guess we could look at counties in Alabama, see why they have not called this one, because this seems like a no-brainer. Alabama, where are you at? Yeah, so with polling data, as Trump projected to win by 66 points. So we can take a look at the New York Times. This is the estimated margin, 66 points for Donald Trump. So not much of a contest. Yeah, at 8 Pacific, though. Must be a water main break. So we'll take a look at the counties here. Trump has 100% of the vote in Greene County. Where we think the votes remain. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're looking for or why there's such a well, there's so much caution with those, but Mobile County, Montgomery County, Jefferson County, and Madison County, Nikki's done better in the cities. So it makes sense that they're waiting for some of those results. Maybe just any results from any of those cities would do enough to call it, but we haven't seen anything yet. So again, 82% is the estimated final vote with a 66-point margin. So, but we just don't. I think that's they're probably just being cautious because none of the cities have come in yet. But as you see right now, it's not a contest. So, for what it's worth, in Vermont, Nikki Haley now has a 0.4% margin and is projected to win by 2.4%. So we'll take a look at Vermont. So this is where we have right now same kind of projection. 48.45 to 47.98 is the percentage breakdowns right now. 105 votes separate them right now, with Nikki leading. And this is their margin within their margin of error, so it's still a toss-up. Could go either way. I think this is going to be the only even close primary. And as you can see, not shocking at all, the populated counties, or where Democrats generally would hang out, heavy blue, as much as 62% in some places, 64, 66, and then some scattered out in this general vicinity, and then pretty much equal for Donald Trump everywhere in the rural areas where you'd think he'd win. He has a 76% margin there. So Burlington. Yeah, so Burlington, 75% for Haley. So this one will come down to the wire, and this will probably be the only one that remains competitive. But a lot left to report. So Democrats are crossing over and voting for her. There's no question. So that one will probably remain close. We just got another vote dump for Alabama. Has not changed anything. So we're still waiting on that. So again, Donald Trump needs 1,215 to win the nomination for the Republicans. As you can see, he's well in the lead. 15 states vote today. There's about 900 that are up for grabs. It'll be about 100 short after today, if everything goes right. Which he'll probably make up either next Tuesday with a slate of primaries. If not, he will certainly make it up the following Tuesday, which will be March 19th. And one of those states voting in that primary will be the great state of Florida, and that will probably account for most, if not all, of what he needs to make it up. So first numbers coming in from Arkansas. We have Donald Trump 80% in, Nikki Haley 16%. Mark Robinson for governor nominee in New York City, or North Carolina. So as we're waiting, let's see. Yeah, I think that they're just waiting on one more drop for Alabama. I think they just want one city in, if I had to guess. What? Oh, they haven't called it yet. Okay. Because Vermont just went yellow for Haley on the Washington Post map. Let's see if NBC has any projection here. So NBC has been the most accurate and up to date. They have them a dead heat. So one vote separates the two. 10,991 to 10,992 for Donald Trump. So they think there's about 48,000 votes outstanding. And again, it's kind of the breakdown. It is dead heat across most. So this is the interesting one. This is the one to watch for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that just for a minute and wait for another vote drop. I'll see if they've called anything else at this point. So nothing still. Washington Post, which has been behind by about 10 seconds, has Nikki Haley still in the lead. So Maya Flores has been officially projected to win the primary for the Republicans, and that. Alabama, we're still waiting on some kind of vote total to come in. Like I said, as soon as there's any kind of drop, I'm sure that that one's over just because of the margin, just out of looking at it. And probably not going to, brother. Texas is another one where I'm like, I wonder why they haven't called it yet, because it seems pretty clear to me. But well, let's take a look at the Texas map, see where. So this is where we have votes in from. It's kind of the East Coast. I imagine Texas is 2 time zones. I don't know that, but possibly. Huh. Okay. Curious to see if Austin will go for Haley. It's close, but not at all. So that one's also confusing as to why they have not called it for Haley, or for Trump, I mean, excuse me. Yeah, because all the projected polling data says that they're going to continue to lead in favor of Donald Trump. So it seems like that one should be done. Oh, we almost forgot about American Samoa. Is that today? Oh, that's just the Democrats today. American Samoa is just the Democrats. So we're still waiting for results. Also, one I didn't cover the other night while we're here, North Dakota went heavily in favor of Donald Trump on Saturday. 84% of the votes went to Donald Trump. Alabama got a couple more vote drops. Trump is up by 90%, or he's up 90% now. Kind of crazy. Let's see. And where it really matters, American Samoa is too close to call or too early to call between Biden and Dean Phillips. So I know little to nothing about American Samoa. I would just be honest. Let's see. NBC still hasn't called Maine, which is concerning. It's a territory in. I actually don't know where it's at. So out of a choice between Nikki and Sleepy Joe, I would vote Putin. Exactly. I don't know. Let me see where American Samoa is. Samoa. Oh. It's out by our little furball friend. There's American Samoa. Pago Pago. American Samoa. So there's American Samoa right off the coast of Australia. Okay, for real. Just call Texas for Trump already. All right, the Washington Post has just called the Alabama primary for Donald J. Trump. 85.9%. So it is now Trump's. So we have official results from Alabama as well. Waiting for Trump to speak as well. I don't know if he'll wait until the end. New York Times is also calling the Alabama race for Donald J. Trump. 87.8% of the vote to Nimrata's 9.1. 1.4 voted uncommitted. And Trump is projected to win by about 66 points, so about the current margin. This one is still interesting. It keeps going back and forth in Vermont. Texas, I have no idea why they haven't called it yet. When we look at their projections, Trump plus 53. Soon. If they hadn't killed Kennedy, they probably would. So that's kind of what we're looking at for. I mean, it's not even close. I don't know what they're waiting on for Texas. Because they have just under 1 million votes in, so about a third. I don't see any major change coming out of that one. Okay, so NBC has officially called Maine officially for Donald Trump. 70.9%. He won all 20 delegates in the state of Maine. Donald Trump is projected the winner of the Maine primary with a lot of votes outstanding, but it's a large margin. So we can take that one off. NBC still has not called Alabama, though, whereas the other ones have. So let's take a look at the delegate count real quick while we're waiting for more results to come in. Donald Trump has 438 delegates of the 1,215 needed. Again, there's some big contests coming up tonight Texas is 166, I believe, and California is 169. Nemrata has 46%, so about 10% of that. They're taking a page out of the TCF Center in Detroit, putting up the cardboard boxes so we can't get in. Speaking of, for election coverage, why not? Me and a friend are going to go down to TCF Center this election cycle, so we can report on the fuckery straight from the source. So, California for Trump, it should be. But I will be down there for that particular adventure. That's where they put the, yeah, we won't talk about it. Totally legitimate election took place there in the 2020 election cycle. So, well, let's take a look at the exit polling data for the great state of California if we get it. We have none yet. None coming in. No updates on the delegates. Okay, now NBC's finally called Alabama for Trump. 90.6%. What's up, Paul Diab? Tell us all this fuckery. Yeah, there might have been a van that came in with some ballots, but we're going to try really hard to make sure that doesn't happen this time. But Nikki's been done, for sure. But Nikki's been done. Like we talked about earlier, I think it's just the donor money. As long as it's still coming in, why doesn't she just tour the country on somebody else's dime? They have not called Texas for. Ooh, that's good. Let's see if the projection has changed at all. I think we got to this one, but I'll show it just in case, and then I'll get rid of it. Maine was called for President Trump, but I think we got to that one already. Massachusetts looks like a done deal for President Trump. Again, we look to the cities to see if Nikki Haley has a lead. She's not winning Worcester County. Trump is winning Boston Township. Nikki's winning Andover, Provincetown, and Norton. So this one is all but called, should be, especially since the cities are coming in and there's still nothing, no big bump for Haley yet. For what it's worth, the New York Times has just called Massachusetts by a margin of 60-36 for Donald Trump and awarded him all 20 delegates for the state of Massachusetts. So NBC should be right behind. Still large margins in Texas, no surprise there. And even the New York Times just well, we'll go back to that race because I think that one's interesting. Vermont. This is the contest we've been looking at all night. I think this one's the only one Nikki has a chance to win. And Trump is up by just over 700 votes now, so he's opening up a lead. We'll see if their projection has changed. In about 5 minutes, we will get Colorado, Minnesota, and that will be it. So Colorado and Minnesota, and if we get those results and get those calls, I'll probably call it because, again, California doesn't vote or doesn't finish voting till 11 p.m. Eastern time. So 2 hours from now. Hell, we might not have Vermont results by then. Who knows? Vermont's currently at 41% of the vote. And Trump continues to kind of open up a lead there, doesn't he? Look at the votes. Again, the cities, Nikki Haley. And then when you get to the rural areas, it's Donald Trump. So the bigger cities, Burlington, Montpelier, seem to be breaking for Haley. And then more on these rural is the lighter red. And those seem to be breaking pretty heavily for Donald Trump. So. And it looks like about 1% is the average right now for that. So let's refresh there. Jesus, call Texas for Trump already for shit. So we'll take a look over at Texas and wonder why they haven't called it yet. We'll go back over here. 727,383 votes for Donald Trump for a total percentage of 75.4. We're coming up on half the votes in. So half the votes with that kind of margin, you would think that it would be a done deal, but I want to see. They don't have exit polling data. I wanted to see if they have anything in there that makes sense as to why they haven't called it. And we have no polling data at all for California. So let's see why they haven't called it. Vermont was called a vermin. That makes sense. Yeah, we're not getting any exit polling data out of Texas yet. So these are the states. NBC has been pretty consistent, so that's what I've been using for a majority of the various information. So these are the ones that we still have outstanding. Massachusetts is too early to call, although Trump has about a 15% lead right now in Massachusetts. We have Vermont. I said is going to be one hell of a contest. That's opened up to about 2.5%, so it's trending in Donald Trump's favor. And then we have the great state of Texas, which I still have no idea why they haven't called. But Trump has a commanding lead over here. Adam Schiff is running tonight, by the way. So might be one I do in the update. Adam Schiff is running for California Senate. And I think that's a general election, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's for an unexpired term. So he's running for California Senate. probably I don't know exactly what happened, but probably due to a recall. So Adam Schiff is running for California Senate. So we'll kind of recap while we're waiting because it just hit 9, so we should get some more results here in just a moment. But Trump, oh, they did call Alabama on this one. Okay, so Trump has won Alabama, heavy lead in Arkansas. He's won Massachusetts. He's won Maine, won North Carolina, won Oklahoma, won Tennessee. Should have won Texas. I don't know what the hell they're waiting on. Won Virginia. Vermont still too close to call. These are the remaining states. On the Democrat side, we have Vermont went to Biden, Virginia to Biden. Texas and Tennessee went to Biden. I mean, he's up 83 points in Texas. Again, I don't know why they called it. Oklahoma and North Carolina both went to Biden. Maine and Massachusetts to Biden. Iowa to Biden. Arkansas to Biden. Alabama to Biden. And pretty consistent numbers all the way across. So we're still just waiting on this New Hampshire number, which is the race of the night. For what it's worth, it still shows Haley plus 2.6 is their forecasted method. Is their live forecast. So Haley at plus 2.6%, coming up on half the votes in. And we have a call, maybe. Maybe? Yes, we have a call. Don't know why it took so long. Donald Trump has won the Texas presidential primary. 75.7%. She should. That would be great. I'll keep my eye on it. That'd be fantastic. This was all wrapped up after tonight. But she has an event in Texas next week. All right, let's see. I don't see anything from the Haley campaign yet, but I'll keep an eye on X and her campaign website to see if we get any kind of information. But it is confirmed Texas has went to Donald Trump as well. Another one to call. Arkansas has officially been won by Donald Trump. On all of the sites, Massachusetts has now been called by all of the sites to include NBC. So that's a clean sweep so far. We'll take a look at the delegate tracker in just a moment here. Clean up some of these old ones that don't need to be here no more. Donald Trump has 606 delegates, so half the number needed to win the nomination. Nimrati still has 46, DeSantis with 9, Vivek with 3. On the other side, Joe Biden has 826 delegates. NPC. Oh, her event was yesterday? Okay, she can drop out then. Dees went to it, I think. At least that's what I'm gonna. That's the lie I'm gonna spread on the internet that Dees went. So let's see. So we're still just waiting on Vermont. Colorado, we're getting some numbers in. Minnesota, we're getting some numbers. So let's take a look at Colorado and Minnesota. Bring those up. That guy over there. So this is what it currently looks like over in Vermont. Before we head over to Minnesota and Colorado, give them some time to filter in. He's opened up nearly a 1,000 vote lead, 2.8%. And we're about half the votes in. And it's been pretty random in the distribution. I don't see it going heavily one way or the other. I think we're ultimately probably going to see similar here. So yeah, just suck these nuts. Yeah, that's what it is. So that's what JSD stands for. So no results in Minnesota. I lied. They said there was. Colorado, the state embroiled in the ballot controversy, recently just got smacked down by the U.S. Supreme Court. No surprise. Leaning towards Nikki Haley in the first vote drop. So Nimrata's up by about 3,500 votes. So about just under 10%. So all coming out of Denver County. So for what it's worth. If that's her showing in Denver County, then she's probably in trouble for the rest of the state. Because again, as we know, areas that are normally Democrat or heavily populated are leaning towards Nikki Haley in tonight's primary and the entire primary season due to a lot of Democrats crossing over to vote. So Trump just added 0.3% to his Vermont lead. NBC has not called it yet, but the Washington Post just called Colorado for Donald Trump. So that one's been decided. As we look at it live. They still have too early to call. But as you see, this is the way the rest of the state's going to go. Very heavily Donald Trump red. So we're really just waiting on that Vermont, and we're waiting on some kind of results in from Minnesota. Just looking to see if we see anything else. So still, Nikki Haley has not won a single state. She did win the territory of Washington, D.C., but she has not won a single state in this primary season. Faux News has Trump up by 20% in Colorado. Huh. It's about what NBC has him at, I think. I can't find the tab. Yeah, about 16%, somewhere in there. As we see another non-city county, Jefferson County to the west of Denver, heavily in favor of Trump. I mean, and you have a quarter of the vote in. I'd be okay calling it that way, but Let's see. The WAPO's projected, as we've been watching all night, Vermont has been about a 2.5% lean towards Nikki Haley. It has currently flipped. With 52% of the vote in, it has Trump winning at plus 2% as its live projection. So, just for what it's worth. Let's see. So Donald Trump is now favored to win the primary. Let's see when they call that. Still no votes in from Minnesota, however. No votes from Minnesota. Vermont's nearly 3% in favor of Donald Trump at this point. 17,086 votes to 16,130. Minnesota, they go to Haley do the Libby's. I'm curious to see how Dean Phillips does in Minnesota. Yeah. I'll keep an eye on the Democrat side too. We haven't got votes in from either side, the Republicans or the Democrats, yet for Minnesota. Yeah, no vote totals in for either side to this point. So Trump has an 18-point lead in Colorado now. Yeah, I mean, AP says 1% in. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I don't have any results yet. Let's see if they have anything. Oh, there we go. Fewer than 1% in Minnesota. So let's look at. Damn. So WAPO has some results in, and they're not good for Nimrata. To be fair, they're in a rural area. 75.1% for Donald Trump, 21.6% Nikki Haley in the first vote dump. It was about 750 votes. And it is in a western rural county, for what it's worth. So the big one will be Minneapolis for that one. So we're still looking at this one. This was the contest of the night. The only one I think that Nikki Haley can win. Let's see if they've called Colorado yet. NBC is still not called Colorado. NBC still has no results for Minnesota in yet. As soon as they do, I'll let you know. So we'll keep an eye on Vermont for now. We're waiting for anything to change. I love how the New York Times is trying to slow play it because they still have Trump at that he's only gained 24 delegates tonight. Although they've called all these states. All these states have been called for Trump. So Maine, Massachusetts, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado. But they've only awarded him 24 total delegates. Juxtapose that with NBC, who's awarded him 627 delegates. It's just funny how they manipulate the game and play games with stuff, you know. Can't report on it. They have to manipulate it. So crazy. So taking a look at, they are slow with the results from Minnesota, though. There's another vote dump of about 600 votes. Donald Trump still has 75% of the vote in Minnesota. Still fewer than 1%. As far as for the Democrats in Minnesota, from the Washington Post, this is kind of the breakdown. So we have Joe Biden, 76.5%, uncommitted, 13%, and Dean Phillips, who Fire says is from Minnesota, has a total of 7.5%. Cool. Arrest me. I voted for him twice. I voted for him in the election and then as a delegate to the convention in the caucus. I happily voted for him. Come get me. Hey, what's up, Jacob? Sorry, shit. I haven't paid attention to Rumble at all, brother. What's up, Jacob? Let's see. Still waiting on some kind of result. Dean Phillips is a congressman from the Minnesota 3rd District. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Is 3rd District, is that mini? Is that the city? Donald Trump still leading. Still opening up that result. It's up to 3.4% in Vermont at this point for a total of 53% of the votes in. He'll probably end up winning this one as well. So good news there. 664 total delegates. He's over halfway to the nomination at this point. You're part of the LGB FJB community? Me as well, sir. I kind of wish he would have crept trolling though. Like I was kind of hoping he'd keep going. I'm kind of upset about that. All right, so NBC has officially just called Colorado for Donald J. Trump. As we said, it's going to just continue to open up. He'll probably win this one by 30, 40 points. So there is another state for Donald Trump, the one that tried to keep him off the ballot, the one that just got smacked down by the Supreme Court in a 9-0 decision. So now we just wait on Minnesota, which should be over pretty quick, and Vermont, which should also be over pretty quick. Looking at Minnesota looking at the Democrat side, not specifically Minnesota, but we'll go back to the big board over here. So the only contests we have left on the Democrat side are Utah and California. Minnesota looks like it's going to go heavy to Biden plus 62. Biden has clean swept every other state. Donald Trump has swept every state except for Vermont so far. As you can see, is a +2 projected result. Hey. Hey, buddy. Damn it. Where's it at? Oh, here we go.
Go fuck yourself.
I was really hoping he would continue to troll, though. Like, genuinely. I had like 17 more already. So. Oz wasn't complaining. Never mind. I'm still waiting for Nikki. This is a funny clip. Leave it to Texas. Here, while I'm looking.
NBC just reported that Michelle Obama has said she will not run for president.
Thank God.
Okay.
Yes.
Ainsley said, "I would love the reaction from a woman in the crowd," and
I wouldn't vote for a woman, and especially, Nikki Haley. I'm just going to say this. She's probably menopausal. We don't need that.
okay, she said, "How about we vote for people regardless of their gender, just the right person for the job for America?"
Yeah, and that's kind of thanks so much, Will. That's kind of interesting because everyone speculated that she was going to run except her.
That was funny. Accurate, based, only in Texas, but correct. If you don't vote for Kamala or Nimrata, you ain't black. I'm hoping she gives a speech while we're still on. I'm really hopeful that she's going to say something while we're still on here. Posted by Donald J. Trump Jr. Of course, can't say it, but I do. There's not much in for Minnesota just yet, but we'll get to that in just a minute. I was going to go back to Vermont for just a brief second, and then we'll head right over to Minnesota. So still too close to call. 55% of the vote in. Donald Trump continues to open up a lead. I think that he will win Vermont and still keep Nikki Haley from winning any single state. So as far as Minnesota, we have about 2,000 in at this point. 78.7% in for Donald Trump. Nikki Haley, 358 votes. So right now we have Crow Wing County. Donald Trump leading heavily. And from what I know of Minnesota, pretty much all this up here is going to go probably heavily Trump. This area right here will probably lean more Haley. But as you see here in Dakota County, Donald Trump, although only 0.5% in, Donald Trump has a big lead in the first dump there. Grant County, 80% Donald Trump. Nearly 80% Yellow Medicine. Murray County is almost all the way in, 80% Trump. Rock County, 80% Trump. So, it's looking like it's going to be a good night, even in Minnesota, who is, if I'm not wrong, was the only state to not vote for Reagan, right? Or was there one other one? I don't remember, but Oh, that's your county? Okay. So when we look at the Democrat side, Joe Biden is, I mean, obviously running away with it. The only reason I'm showing it is because Fiery wanted to see how Dean Phillips was doing. He's beating uncommitted, for whatever that's worth to you, buddy. He's doubling up uncommitted, but nowhere close to Joe Biden. So we're just waiting on Minnesota. We're waiting on Vermont. And then the only contest that will be left will be California and Alaska. Again, those polls don't close until 11 p.m. Eastern and midnight Eastern time. And we'll be gone by then. Maybe I'll do a quick update after that. But so we'll break down where we're at right now in tonight's action. Trump won Virginia very easily, doubled up Haley, and secured 39 of the delegates so far. More once the remainder of the votes are in. He won Arkansas by a large margin. He's won 27 of the awarded delegates so far there. He won North Carolina and has won 53 of the delegates awarded so far there, 74%. Alabama, 82.7%, won 29 of 50 delegates so far. More to be awarded as they come in. Maine, he won all 20 delegates, 70% of the vote. Oklahoma, he won 28 of the delegates so far. More to be awarded after. Why did it move on me? 82.5%, 77.2% in Tennessee, 16 of the 58 so far. More after it's resolved. Colorado, that tried to keep him off the ballot, 62.7%. Gonna win big there. Texas, nearly 100 delegates so far, with only half the votes in, and 76.2% there. Again, the contest we have left: Utah, Alaska, and then California. Oh, we might get California results. No, polls close at 11. Okay, never mind. So we're just waiting on Vermont and Minnesota to make calls on both of those races, watching all of them. If I had to guess, we'd be waiting for the Twin Cities, something in Hennepin County to come in, just anything to come in Hennepin. But the surrounding counties, Dakota and Wright County, heavily Donald Trump. Carver County, wide margin to Donald Trump as well. But Washington and Hennepin are what we're looking for. Yeah, I know, right? So we're just waiting on those. Take another look at the delegates. From NBC News, 648 delegates belong to Donald Trump. So again, he's more than halfway to the 1,215 needed to win the GOP nomination. If you're just joining us, there are more contests next week. Even if he sweeps and gets awarded everything tonight, he's still going to be about 100 delegates short, give or take. Yes, Dees, usually. And so that might be resolved on the 12th. If it's not resolved on the 12th, it will be resolved on the 19th, when the great state of Florida is one of the slate of people to vote for president, and they'll make up whatever is outstanding. So we're keeping an eye on Vermont. That continues to widen, 2.9% now. I want to see some Vermont exit polling to see what they're looking at, see how close it really is. For what it's worth, Washington Post has just called Minnesota. Donald Trump has 75% of the early vote, 4% in, and they've just called Minnesota for Donald Trump. And they have equally called Minnesota for Joe Biden on the Democrat side. So both of the frontrunners have won their respective contests in that aspect. Looks like we might get a Trump speech too. Maybe we'll hang out for that. Kind of hoping to get something from Haley too. Maybe see ya. I concede. Two. Oh, One-Eye McCain is in District 2 for the Republican primary is close. Let's see if we can find that race. Let me see if I can't find that, because that's closer than I think they thought it was going to be. Texas is second. Texas 23rd. They don't have it up here. Let me see if I can't find it someplace else. Texas. There it is. Like I said, she's somebody's paying her. So I'd stay in and go across the country. So let's break this down. Does she really ever have a chance in hell at becoming president of the United States? I contend no. So why not continue your free ride? Have fun. Have fun. Keep up the free ride. That's my side of it. I mean, she's not doing any damage to Trump. She's One-Eye McCain is up just slightly in the Texas 2nd Congressional District primary. So just northeast of Houston. Dan Crenshaw, he's up by 17 points. 73% of the vote in. He's probably going to secure it, but that's probably a little bit tighter than he wanted to be, if we're being honest. I wish I could show that video. Damn. That was funny. So again, we're just waiting on Vermont. Yeah, but does she really have a reputation left? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, her reputation's been shot. She screwed it up. I would not be shocked if she doesn't come out as a Democrat after this, honestly. Got another great clip for y'all.
What do you think of Nikki Haley? Did you ever consider her?
What I got to say, you don't really want to put it on.
Let me hear it.
Well, a woman's not going to be a good president. She don't have no balls to scratch. She's just going to scratch her head. All a woman's good for in my book is having babies and taking care of the house. And that's the old thing, but I'm old school.
So you never even considered her?
No.
Mainly because she's a woman?
Because she's female. So, I mean, females, don't take me wrong, females know what they're doing, but they still got to have a little bit of guidance. Trump would be the one to guide her through the
What do you think of Nikki
She ain't got balls to scratch was the takeaway quote from that interview, from that exchange. That's what he didn't want to say on TV. She ain't got balls to scratch. Hell of a quote. Don't ask the question if you don't want the answer. He tried to tell you. He's from North Carolina. So we got a good one out of Texas, a good one out of North Carolina. So just waiting on Minnesota to go final. I mean, waiting on Minnesota to go final on NBC. Just for the sake of consistency, since that's what I've been using all night. And then this Vermont one, this one's the one that I'm really interested in. 2.1% lead for Donald Trump right now. Trump is expected to speak at some point. Haven't got a time on it yet. But we'll hang out. Gross. These I don't know, so I'm not even going to click on it, buddy. So here's what we got. Trump and I'm not even going to pronounce that because somebody will clip it and it will sound racist. This county way up here, 81% of the vote, Donald Trump. I mean, Trump's just rolling everywhere. We still don't have any from Hennepin or any from Washington County. Anoka is heavy Trump. Dakota is heavy Trump. Wright is heavy Trump. And Carver is pretty well and good Trump. So, and most of the other ones have called this race for Donald Trump. So, around 3 a.m. That will be on what is it, November 4th this year? I think I don't know. Sometime in November. So we have 63% of the vote in. We'll go over here and hope that Minnesota gets called. 63% of the vote, so about 26,000 remain in Vermont. If I had to guess, I would lean heavily towards it's Donald Trump's. He's been opening the lead since we've been watching. I think so too. I don't think there's any way we vote in November, but Donald Trump has opened up just under 1,000, so 900 and a few odd votes. So we're still just waiting on that last 37% in. And I'll take a quick second, please, if you would not mind, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button for me. YouTube just nuked like 100 and some odd subs from my channel, so that's always fun. But yeah, if you don't mind, just smack that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed because like I said, they got rid of over 100. But it's election season, so of course it's going to be. It's part of the game. Unless 100 people subscribed from me last night between the hours of 2 a.m. and 9 a.m., which seems unlikely. Possible, but seems unlikely all at once. So we're still just waiting here. See if they've awarded any other. the other reason I'm going over here is Joe Biden has 911 delegates right now. So he's coming up on the halfway point. Not quite halfway, but they do things different over there in the Democrat side of the world. Donald Trump, 648 delegates to Nikki Haley's 46. And we're just waiting for the official call in Minnesota and then waiting on that contested contest in Vermont. Let's see. Too early, too close, projected. Jeez. Ooh, damn. Maybe that's why it's too close. So another vote dump came in, and now they're only separated by 499 votes in Vermont. This is really going to come down to the wire here in Vermont. Just a slight edge for Donald Trump. Washington Post has him up by wow. And it's just getting closer. Let's see if they've updated the vote dump. So Washington Post now has a total difference in votes of 127 between the two. Woohoo! So we have Donald Trump Jr. coming out. So maybe we'll get Donnie Sr. Oh, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. So here's MSNBC. This is what they think of your votes, if anybody voted in this specific.
But Republican voters don't vote that way. They don't vote based on economics or based on the benefits they're getting economically from the president. They're increasingly, from the Tea Party on, they're voting on race. They're voting on this idea of an invasion of brown people over the border. The idea that they can't get whatever job they want. A black person got it, therefore drive all the blacks out of the colleges, get rid of DEI. That is what they're voting on. They're just voting specifically on racial animus at this stage. It isn't about economics.
No, but
That's all we're voting on is because Donald Trump's white. That's it. We don't care about the fact that inflation is insane. Or gas is almost $4 a gallon here in Michigan again. I mean, just be consistent, all right? Trump isn't even white. You've been saying he's orange forever. So he's orange man bad, but we're voting for him because we're white? Like, come on, just be consistent. Damn. He can't be orange man rad and we're just voting on him because he's white. Like, those two don't line up. Thank goodness. All right, so NBC has officially called the race in Minnesota for Donald Trump. 69% of the vote in. And again, I thought they would wait for Hennepin or... Oh, did Washington come in already? Ramsey. Oh, Washington came in, that's why. And he led big there too. So Ramsey and Hennepin, we haven't got any results, but they think that his lead is enough. And fiery to 9% of the votes in. Joe Biden's won 72.1%. Uncommitted has passed Dean Phillips, 15.8%, 9.4% for Dean Phillips. And you said Hennepin was like this county area? Yeah, not even no real spikes for Dean Phillips anywhere. He barely beat uncommitted there. A little bit in Carver County. A little bit, 14.4%. But nothing in from Hennepin yet. So yeah, that was his best showing was is Carver County, 14.4%. And it's the only county he beat uncommitted. Oh, of course. Of course, because it's all part of the plan, my brother. I'd vote for Clarence Thomas. Based Clarence Thomas. So all that we still are waiting on is Vermont. Trump's up by 424 votes. Currently, 68% of the vote total in. Still kind of waiting to see if Donnie's going to speak. Looks like we're getting close. People moving around. Used to live in Washington County, Minnesota? Huh. So what else do we have? So California, Alaska, Utah. Well, at this point, we'll get the Utah results too. We'll just be short California. I'm really just interested in this one. This one's the one. This is the only one that I think Haley could win. And it's coming down to the wire, 0.9% at this point. So it'll likely go to how many dead relatives have voted, though? Well, thanks for stopping by, Tilly. Have a good night. I'm going to save that tweet for a different show, but that's funny. I'm trying to see. So this is the update from Nikki Haley's website, for what it's worth. Event section, no events found. So wow, that's so close. It's so close on all of them in Vermont. It's less than a point. That's what I'm wondering. Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg went to Love Park Community Center Tuesday morning to cast a ballot for her own primary race, only to be told someone already voted in her name. Damn. I saw that too. I saw that. Oops. Gotta go back to this one. Wait, is that the guy? Oh, yeah, fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I put this up as a short, but I'm gonna do it too. Where did I put it? Political ad season gives us some good ads from time to time. This was a good ad, in my opinion. Viewer discretion is advised. This is an actual political ad.
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense, that no one could possibly need all 30 rounds. But when this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need that semi-automatic and all 30 rounds.
Great ad, by the way. Gutsy ad. Gutsy ad. Still trying to wait for something from Nimrata. I mean, let's be honest. Is there any way that Nikki can stay in the race at this point? Is there any reason other than what we've already mentioned? You know, the free tour around the world, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's no reason. There's literally zero chance of her winning. Even with all the crossover and all the additional voting. So. Exactly. I mean, she's getting it's you make a lot of money doing politics. 0.3%. I'm concerned we're not going to get a call at all at this point with this one. At all. Because it might be too close to call. Trump is expected to take the stage at Mar-a-Lago pretty soon, so we will we'll probably wrap up after he speaks. Just kind of waiting for him to speak. But 0.3%. I'd vote for me if you ran. Two. Obama wasn't from Kenya. Allegedly. So we're still waiting right here. Sorry, trying to listen to see what they're saying about Trump coming up. He should be up to speak in just a moment. They're starting to make their way to the stage. I guess I could steal RSBNs for a minute. We'll see what they're saying.
The Garden, Madison Square Garden in Manhattan, tremendously. I don't, to my knowledge.
I'll keep an eye on it on the back.
Correct me on this. I don't think he's done a quote rally in the city of New York. I know they had one in Chicago years ago. It was kind of chaotic, to be honest with you, because that was back early in the campaign, but they didn't have necessarily the campaign for that. But I think it would be historic. I think we would see. I better give you a hug in a little bit. I better give you a hug. You're not leaving without me hugging you.
So we will get Utah results. That'll be 4 minutes until Utah comes in.
Campaign advisor to Great Carrie Lake. So Lisa Dell coming in.
For what it's worth, Nikki Haley has just passed Donald Trump in Vermont. She leads by 97 votes at this point. 0.2%. And we still have Burlington coming in. That hasn't happened yet. Burlington or South Burlington, which should be heavy Haley. 67. She's not winning by that big of margins in and around the city as I thought she would. Cambridge. Yeah, I mean it's pretty close across the board, to be honest. All the way across. So I think it's a ton of Democrats crossing over. Yeah, I know. There you go. There's your water leak that you're talking about. I don't know. They have some high hopes and are saying some crazy things. I think it probably will shake out probably about the same. I mean, if I had to guess, I think yet again you're going to get kind of Idaho over to Minnesota. You'll get the Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, all this. Arizona, I think will go red. I think you get your Floridas, Georgias, this kind of Bible Belt area. I think there's a good indication that Pennsylvania and Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia, Kentucky will go red. But you'll see the blue on this coast. You'll see the blue in Virginia, D.C., Maryland, New York, New Jersey, probably Wisconsin, Minnesota, one of the Arizona, New Mexico states, probably Nevada, California, and then the West Coast. I hate to say it, but with how much of a mess Michigan is right now with the GOP, I wouldn't doubt Michigan goes blue. So I think it will be somewhere in that 300, 304 range, maybe, for Trump. And it also depends on how many ballots they can print off that quick. So, and if we allow him to take it again. So let's look at the projected. Trump less than 1% is the projected based on polling for Vermont currently. I don't know why Vermont matters so much either. It's only 17 delegates. It's not like it's big percentages coming out of Burlington now. So Burlington just dropped 74.9% for Nikki Haley, 17.1 Donald Trump. So once that updates, because that's over on It's over on WAPO, so we haven't got those results in yet here. South Burlington, 62% for Nikki Haley, 34% for Donald Trump. This tells you all things you need to know. 10 people in South Burlington and 11 people in Burlington voted for Chris Christie. It tells you everything you need to know about Vermont. Stay the hell out of Vermont. And there we see it reflected. So Nikki Haley's now almost up an entire point. Almost an entire point. And I still don't think Burlington's dropped. Nope, there's South Burlington. Sorry, Burlington's really small. Zoom in. So this is the counties that I think are going to, that might swing it in favor of Nikki Haley. These two, Burlington, South Burlington. And that's reflected on Washington Post and the New York Times, based on the numbers that came in for them. Now, the New York Times has Nikki Haley projected to win by 3.1%, and WAPO has her by 2.8%. So it swung back in favor of Nikki Haley based on that vote drop. Still looking live and waiting for Donald Trump to come live here. We're still waiting on those Vermont results. Utah, the polls have officially closed, waiting on results from Utah. Nothing in yet, but we'll keep an eye. I'm sure they did. Possibly. She's up by a few hundred votes now. 450, maybe. Let's see if we can see. It's not up. Still too close to call. 76% in, as reported by NBC. Okay, so on WAPO, they just got another dump of votes, and it put Donald Trump back up by 149 votes. So, but they seem to have less total votes. So I think this is more accurate. NBC seems to be a little bit more accurate. Although I don't know why they would have different vote totals in. That's weird. So we'll keep an eye on that specific one here. Still waiting for Donald Trump to show up to speak. Waiting for results from Utah since we're still on. It's seeming like it. Oh, you're going to give them all to Oz? So we'll wait for Utah results to come in. Pretty sure they get sent by carrier pigeons out there in Utah. Mormon carrier pigeons, but I don't know that for a fact. Current delegate count 676. Dyslexia is a bitch. For Donald Trump, 46 for Nikki Haley, 9 DeSantis, 3 Ramaswamy, 973 for Joseph Robinette Biden, 2 uncommitted. And we're back to Vermont. Still no results in Utah. Yeah, this one's going to be nailed by. This one's going to be down to nothing. If these idiots that voted for Chris Christie would have voted for Donald Trump, then he would have won. Or DeSantis. DeSantis 711 votes. Vivek 410. Blinkley 194 and 21 write-ins. That's what I hear. I think, yeah, Biden won this one going away. Williamson 1771. Dean Phillips 1315. But Joe Biden 37,680. Which seems kind of light for New Hampshire, if we're being honest. Or Vermont, whichever one this is. It's probably because the ones that normally would have voted right there. So that's probably why it feels a little light. See if we got any numbers in from Burlington yet. Nothing in from Burlington there. South Burlington, slight lead to Nikki. Colchester, slight lead. Essex, slight lead. So it's still looking good for Haley to pick up her first state. Maybe that's what she wants. Maybe she just wants to win one state for president, and then she'll go away. What do you guys think? Let her have one and hope she slinks away to nowhere. Uncle Donnie's probably waiting too. Nope, here comes Trump. I think.
Indicative that he will soon be out. Stephen Chung, Roger Stone.
Yes, Roger Stone just walking in.
Brian Jack making his way in here.
Caroline Levitt.
Before we get to Donald Trump, Nikki Haley just opened a huge lead. Probably your biggest lead of the night, 3%. So she will probably win Vermont.
Follow us on social media. You can do that at Brian Glenn TV on Instagram.
Isn't that a Brian Dad
on
joke?
Twitter, Facebook, on Truth Social at Brian BRIAN.
He seems slimy for sure.
From the interview I did with President Trump last night, and I want to do a special thanks to everyone here at Right Side that came together for that effort. You know,
Well, we'll wait. So we'll go back to break down these results a little bit. So yeah, ballots just came in a big way for Nikki Haley. She has a 1,420 vote lead now. Katie Porter wins California. We don't have any results in for California yet, but they don't come until 11 p.m. But Vermont, yeah, I think Vermont's probably going to go Nikki Haley, honestly, after that last drop, because we still don't have Burlington. South Burlington's about 800 votes, so that's probably where a lot of those were made up. So that's what we're looking at right now. So she may win a state. Boxes and boxes of ballots. I would say pallets of ballots. Hey, Digger. Exactly. Exactly. Well, Nikki is getting a lot of votes, given that it's an open primary. She's getting a lot of crossover votes, so a lot of Democrats are voting to undermine President Trump. Like it matters, like it's going to matter in the long run. Still nothing from Utah yet. Let's look at the other. The other here. Still no Trump. They're looking like he's coming, but he's not here quite yet. So Utah, less than 1% in, 87 votes for Donald Trump, 60 for Nikki Haley. Trump leads by 18%. No call yet. Oh, so you weren't saying hi to me at all. I see how it is. You just made a mistake. That's weird. I think NBC's broken. Is this what you have on NBC's, even though it just refreshed? It says polls close in 48 minutes and 26 seconds. And I don't think that's accurate. I could be wrong. Oh, yeah, they do close at 11. Then why do we have results in? Huh. Unless part of it's mountain time or something like that. So I stand corrected. We will not get votes in from Utah for a while, it says. Brian's my good friend. He's our token. WAPO has Trump projected to win Utah, but like I said, NBC News doesn't have anything in it yet. So we'll go back over to Vermont. Just wondering if it's in 2 time zones. Yeah, polls close at 10 p.m. Eastern. So Washington Post has 10 p.m. Eastern as polls close. And NBC has 11 p.m. Eastern as the polls close. So I'm not Utahian, so I don't know when they close. Polls close at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. So is that 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Eastern? Does anybody know I'm terrible at conversions? 10. That's what I thought. Okay. So yeah, we should be getting a lot of results in. Let's see. So there is for what it's worth, Vermont, which is a state that traditionally goes Democrat, currently has 9,000 more Republican primary votes than it does Democrat primary votes. Not saying anything funny is happening. I'm just saying something funny is happening. Oh, here's Donnie. Let's listen to Donnie. Oh. There goes demonetizing my stream. Wait till the music's over. Yeah. Damn it. Ah, the hell with it. Well, it's got to be almost done. Yeah. It is. I've just had good views. I don't want to demonetize the video.
Well, thank you very much. They call it Super Tuesday for a reason. This is a big one. And they tell me, the pundits and otherwise, that there's never been one like this. There's never been anything so conclusive. This was an amazing night, an amazing day. It's been an incredible period of time in our country's history. It's been sad in so many ways, but I think it's going to be inspiring because we're going to do something that, frankly, nobody's been able to do for a long time. We've watched our country take a great beating over the last 3 years, and nobody thought a thing like this would be possible. We wouldn't have Russia attacking Ukraine. We wouldn't have Israel being attacked. Iran, as you know, was broke. When I was running things, they were broke. They didn't have money for Hamas. They didn't have money for Hezbollah. We had no inflation. Inflation is destroying the middle class. It's destroying everything. Inflation, if you look back over the history, hundreds of years back, it's called inflation. It's called a country buster. And that's what it's doing to our country. What's happened with inflation has been unbelievable. A lot of people say, a lot of experts have said the stock market's the only thing that's doing well, and that's doing well because our poll numbers are so much higher than Joe Biden's. He's the worst president in the history of our country. There's never been anything like what's happening to our country. Today it was announced that 325,000 people were flown in from parts unknown. Migrants were flown in, airplane, not going through borders, not going through that great Texas barrier that I was with the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, the other day, and we were looking at the job they're doing. But in the meantime, they're pouring into California and they're pouring into Arizona because those governors aren't doing anything. They're doing nothing. But today it was just announced before I came out. It was unbelievable. I said, that must be a mistake. They flew 325,000 migrants, flew them in over the borders into our country. So that really tells you where they're coming from. They want open borders, and open borders are going to destroy our country. We need borders and we need free and fair elections, or we don't have a country. This is an incredible group of people. So many celebrities that I'm not going to introduce any because I'm just going to get myself in trouble if I do that, because I'll leave out most of you. But this is a room chock full of incredible, talented people, like some of the guys standing right in front of me, right? big futures, big, fat, beautiful futures. Oh, I'd love to be your age. I'd pay you a lot of money to be your age. But we have some tremendously talented people in this room, including tremendously talented political people that have helped me right from the beginning. We had the safest border in the history of our country. We built 571 miles of wall. We had Mexico supply us with 28,000 soldiers because we wanted them. That's why. And they said, we won't do that. I said, yes, you will. You will. And in the end, they did. It was an easy negotiation, but we had the safest border, the best numbers we've ever had, and now we have the worst numbers probably in the history of the world. It's sad to see what's happening to our cities. Our cities are being overrun with migrant crime, and that's Biden migrant crime. But it's a new category of crime, and it's violent, where they'll stand in the middle of a street and have fistfights with police officers. And if they did that in their countries from where they came, they'd be killed instantly. They wouldn't do that. So the world is laughing at us. The world is taking advantage of us. 3 years ago, we were at a level, we were energy independent. We were going to be very shortly energy dominant. And today we're getting oil from Venezuela. Can you believe it? And we're doing numbers on that oil. You know what we're doing? We're refining the oil. We have our refinery for that oil. It's really, I call it tar. It's not oil. It's terrible. We have real stuff. But we're refining it in Houston. So for all of the environmentalists, you ought to look at that, because all of that tar is going right up into the atmosphere. You just ought to take a look. It's the only plant that can do it. We have the only plants that can take tar and make it into oil. And that's what it is. It's a shame. But we were energy independent. We were going to be energy dominant. We were going to be supplying oil to Europe, all over the world. And then a tragic thing happened during the election. It was a tragedy, because you wouldn't have, think of it, all of the problems that you have today, I don't think you would have had any of them. You'd only have success. And that's what's ultimately going to unify this country and unify this party. We have a great Republican Party with tremendous talent. And we want to have unity, and we're going to have unity, and it's going to happen very quickly. And I've been saying lately, success will bring unity to our country, and it happened before. We had the best economy our country's ever had, and people were calling me that I would have said will never happen. It'll never happen. They wanted to get together, African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, women, men, people with diplomas from the best schools in the world, and people that didn't graduate from high school. Every single group was doing better than ever before. And it was a beautiful thing. Our country was coming together. Our country was coming together. And now we have a very divided country. We have a country that a political person uses weaponization against his political opponent. Never happened here. It happens in other countries, but they're third world countries. And in some ways, we're a third world country. We're a third world country at our borders, and we're a third world country at our elections. And we have to stop that. We need a fair and free press. The press has not been fair, nor has it been free, but maybe someday they will be. They're being beaten up pretty badly. People aren't trusting them. They're not believing them. And really, it's a very important factor. The press used to be the policeman. It used to police our country. Now nobody has confidence in them, and we have to get that confidence back. It's so important for the success of our country. So important. So this has been a day that we've been waiting for. I want to thank my family for being here. It's a great family. I have a great family. They've had it very easy since I decided to run for politics. They say, thanks a lot, Dad. We appreciate it. But they're strong, and they're very capable people, and they love the country. They really do love the country, and we appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody at my staff. Susie, Chris, incredible job. Incredible job you're doing. I read an article yesterday where it said this is one of the finest run campaigns that anybody has ever seen. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. It's really a statement. And we have no choice because November 5th is right around the corner. November 5th is going to go down as the single most important day in the history of our country. We're going to take it and we're going to make it like it should be, respected. Right now, we're not respected. Right now, our country is known as a joke. It's a joke. Other leaders who I speak to, other leaders can't believe what happened to us. Because 3 years ago, we were the most respected country anywhere in the world by far. We were doing things that nobody could believe. China was paying us billions and billions of dollars. In 25 years, they paid us nothing, zero, not 10 cents. I was getting billions of dollars, and they were happy about it, as happy as you can be. Of course, maybe there's reasons for things having happened, but they were not so happy with certain things, I guess, based on things that took place. But we were getting along with everybody. We were getting along, and we were respected by everybody. We had no wars. Remember when I had the debate with Hillary Clinton? She said, look at him. Look at that personality. He's going to cause wars. I said, no, my personality is going to keep us out of wars. And that's what happened. For 20 years, they were fighting ISIS. I defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. I got rid of ISIS 100%. 100% of the ISIS caliphate. And we had no wars, and we stopped wars. We weren't getting along with a lot of countries. All of a sudden, North Korea, which is a serious nuclear power, but North Korea came along. Kim Jong-un, we got along very well. We got along very well with China until COVID. That was a little bit too much, as far as I was concerned. That was too much. Couldn't take that one. But we made a trade deal with China that I don't even talk about. $50 billion a year in product they bought from our farmers, our manufacturers. They used to buy 10. I got 50, and it was great. But COVID, I don't even talk about that because COVID was such a horrible thing. It started in the Wuhan labs, just as I said, the Wuhan labs. And it came out, I believe, through incompetence. I believe it was incompetence. Some people think it wasn't, but I believe it was. But regardless, it caused $60 trillion worth of damage and death all over the world, all over the world. And we did a fantastic job on that. We never got credit for that. Unbelievable job on that. We came up with things that nobody thought was possible. Don't forget, when it came in, nobody had an idea what it was. They didn't even use the word pandemic. Nobody had an idea. But we did a fantastic job. And we got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for our foreign policy. I think credit like nobody, very few people have gotten. And the press was very honest about it. They give us very high marks on foreign policy, the Abraham Accords, so many different things we did. But we never got the kind of due that we should have for the COVID, or as I call it affectionately, the Chinese virus, the China virus, which is a much more accurate term. And despite that, the stock market, when we turned it over, the stock market was higher than it was prior to COVID coming in. It was an amazing thing. We did an amazing job. And we have so many people that worked on that, so many of the doctors, so many of the scientists that worked with us on that. It was really, really something. But there's never been an administration that had more success in so many different elements. We got the largest tax cuts in history. We have the largest regulation cuts in history. We rebuilt our military. And what happened, we rebuilt our entire military, and beautiful. We had jet fighters that were 53 years old, and we had all brand new jet fighters. And Then after this other group of people that didn't know what they were doing, they took over, and we had that horrible surrender in Afghanistan. I call it a surrender. We took the soldiers out first. You know, I dealt with the leaders of the Taliban in Afghanistan. They were the ones that were causing the trouble. The press was very angry because they said, "Why are you calling them?" I said, "Because that's where the problem is." I say oftentimes, they asked Jesse James, "Jesse, why do you rob banks?" He said, "Because that's where the money is." And I said, that's where the problem is with the Taliban. And I spoke to Abdul. He's still the leader. Believe it or not, he's really the leader of Afghanistan, but he's the leader of the Taliban, a rough group. I say, don't ever shoot our soldiers again. Don't ever do it. Very interesting. What happened is that, we were having, during the Obama administration, previously, they were shooting a lot of our soldiers. And I let them know, I said, don't ever, ever let that happen. I said, in a rather nasty fashion. We don't have to go into it tonight. For 18 months, we lost nobody in Afghanistan. And then we had that horrible, horrible withdrawal where we lost 13 soldiers, 38 horribly wounded, left Americans behind. You know, we have Americans right now still behind. Call them hostages if you like. It was a terrible moment. We left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful equipment behind, jets and tanks and everything you could think of, goggles, night goggles. They didn't used to fight. They're good fighters. They didn't used to fight at night, but now they do because they have goggles. They have better goggles than we have. So I just want to tell you that led to a lot of bad things. And now the worst things are happening. The things that are happening now are unthinkable. And they're unthinkable at the border. We have millions of people invading our country. This is an invasion. This is the worst invasion probably. We've never had anything like it. No country has ever had anything like it. The number today could be 15 million people. And they're coming from rough places and dangerous places. And we had that shut down. We had everything going so beautifully. When Joe Biden goes to the beach, because somebody on his staff thinks he looks very good in a bathing suit, until he can't get his feet out of the sand or lift the chair, which weighs about 9 ounces. Joe Biden, if he would have just left everything alone, he could have gone to the beach. He would have had a tremendous success at the border and elsewhere. So we're going to take back our country. We're going to make sure we are going to do it right. We're going to have the greatest economy ever in the history of our country. We're going to top what we did. We're going to become an energy center of the world. We were ready to become energy dominant, and they stopped that. But we're going to become energy dominant. We're going to pay off debt. We're going to do things that nobody thought was possible. You know, we hadn't done our second phase of the tax cuts. When we did the tax cuts, the Democrats fought us very hard. And now they say, well, I guess that was pretty good because we took in much more revenues after we cut taxes. And then we did all of those regulation cuts, and people were working and everybody was happy and we were all proud of our country. But we're going to win this election because we have no choice. If we lose the election, we're not going to have a country left. And we're going to do something. Thank you very much. We love you too. And we love our country. And we can't let this magnificent, some people call it an experiment. I don't call it an experiment. I just say this is a magnificent place, a magnificent country. And it's so sad to see how far it's come and gone. When you look at the depths of where it's gone, we can't let that happen. We're going to straighten it out. We're going to close our borders. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the inflation down. And we are going to make our country greater than ever before. And we're going to do it quickly. We're going to do it quickly. It's going to go fast. We have to get the criminals out. We have many, many criminals that have entered our country. We have people coming in from such such bad places, and we're going to have to get them out. We have murderers that are being deposited into our country. We have drug dealers at the biggest, highest levels that are coming into our country. We have people coming into our country that just shouldn't be here, but many, and I say many, large percentages, they come in through the caravans, they come in many different ways. Now we find out again, they come in through airplanes, we'll send them in. This is crazy. But they come into our country, we're going to stop them. We're going to close our borders. We're going to have to deport a lot of people, a lot of bad people, because our countries can't live like this. Our cities are choking to death. Our states are dying. And frankly, our country is dying. And we're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much. It's been a big night. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So huge news. Joe Biden loses a presidential primary. Jason Palmer beats Joe Biden in the American Samoa caucus. As you can see there, he beat him by 11 votes, 51-40. So for the first time, Joe Biden has lost a presidential primary election on the same night that Donald Trump has lost the presidential election to Nimrata Haley. So that is a projected winner. Those results are final. 99% is in. Jason Palmer has defeated incumbent Democrat Joseph Robinette Biden in American Samoa by 11 votes. Go back to Vermont, and Vermont has been called by everybody but NBC News for Nikki Haley. She opened up a big lead after the boxes of ballots was found underneath the stairs. I mean, after the Democrats came out to vote. So she is going to win Vermont. She's up by 4% now, 4.1%. It's all but over for Donnie. So that's kind of what we got going on. And some of the outlets have called Utah for Trump. So all that we'd be waiting on now is California. And frankly, I'm running out of things to talk about. And I'm not seeing anything from Nikki Haley. So I'll do an update tomorrow on the California results because they're going to take time to come in. Big state, lots of no, she doesn't. She does not have a way. She has literally zero chance. So we'll wrap it up. And no, she did not win South Carolina, her home state. She got trounced by Trump by 20 points in South Carolina. So, so we'll go through the awarded delegates so far. Like you said, Nikki Haley, Vermont, she's going to win that one. The only other one that Nikki's won is the District of Columbia. She won that. She won Washington, D.C., and she's won the state of Vermont. So 40 for, excuse me if I can speak, Vermont has not awarded delegates yet because they have not called it here. It's not final, and it's going to take all of that to get in to call that. In Virginia, Trump won 42 delegates. Nikki Haley took 6 because that's not a winner take all. They've awarded all 48 delegates. North Carolina still has some delegates outstanding with 5% of the vote to remain. Trump unhandedly 74 delegates up for grabs. 62 went to Donald Trump. 9 so far went to Nikki Haley. Arkansas has awarded all but 1 delegate. They've awarded 39 delegates to Donald Trump. Alabama has awarded 29 delegates to Donald Trump out of their 50 so far. All 20 delegates in Maine went to Donald Trump with 71%. Oklahoma awarded all 43 delegates to Donald Trump with 81.8%. Massachusetts awarded all 40 delegates to Donald Trump with 61%. Tennessee awarded 55 of its 58 delegates so far to Donald Trump with 77.7%. Colorado, 21 delegates went to Donald Trump, 11 went to Nikki Haley, and there are still 5 outstanding as they have 18% of the vote. Minnesota, 16 of the 39 so far have went to Donald Trump, with 23 outstanding with the remaining 32% of the vote. Texas has awarded 99 delegates to Donald Trump out of its 161 so far. Certainly more to come for Trump. And then we have the 3 that we're still waiting on. California, Utah, and Alaska all have delegates to award. So looking at the delegate tracker currently, it looks like Trump's going to come up a little bit shorter than we originally anticipated. Maybe not. There's still some outstanding. There's still, what is there? 200 and some. Well, no, with California, there's probably 300 left outstanding. So he should finish somewhere around the 1,000 mark for tonight after tonight's contest. Currently has 742 delegates, way ahead of Nikki Haley with 69. And then Joe Biden, 994 delegates. He's almost halfway there. Might be halfway there. Nope, not halfway there yet. And 2 uncommitted. So that's how Super Tuesday shook out. Trump swept everything but Vermont. Biden won everything but the American Samoa. And that's been 3 hours for me. So I am going to log off, and I will give an update on California tomorrow. So, as always, thank you everybody for watching. Please hit that like button on the way out. If you have not, please check to make sure you are still subscribed. And until next time, hope everyone has a good night, and I'll see you soon. Take care.